Hello, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time with us, welcome. I'm glad you've stumbled across this series of videos. I'm going to link the previous weeks in the description box below so you'll be able to jump back and catch up. Your list will just be a little bit longer, but it's not impossible, not by any means. You'll just have a few more things to do in those first couple of weeks, but you can definitely catch up. And for those that have been along for these first 6 weeks, great to have you back. How are you all getting on? Are you ticking a few things off your list? I don't have an update on the Christmas tree situation just yet. Having to record this just a little bit earlier than I normally would because I've got a trip coming up, which I am going to be filming lots of, and I'm excited to be able to bring that to you in the coming weeks, so more on that later. But yeah, because of that, I don't quite have an update on the Christmas situation, the Christmas tree situation rather, but I'll bring that to you just as soon as I can and let you know if we do get a new one this year or not. So yeah, I think I'm getting there too. I'm feeling quite confident that getting lots of things ticked off, feeling the progress that we're making. Don't feel overwhelmed, so that's all positive. So without further ado, let's get into the first task for this week. Task number one on this week's list is really a decision to be made. So by now you should know exactly who is coming for your big holiday meals, whether you're watching in the US and you're thinking about both Thanksgiving and Christmas, or in the UK, we're just thinking about Christmas Day. Maybe you're doing a big Christmas Eve dinner, maybe you're doing a New Year's dinner. Whatever those big meals are, this week you need to decide how you're going to serve them. Are you going to serve them by plating everything up before you take the plates to the table? Are you going to do it family style, where you put all the dishes down the centre of the table and everyone helps themselves? Are you going to do it buffet style and let everybody help themselves and then collectively sit down at the table? There's pros and cons for all, but making decisions about that this week will inform lots of things about kind of serving dishes. It'll inform your table decor. Clearly, if you are planning to have all your dishes down the centre of your Christmas table, when it comes to thinking about the decor of your table, you need to have space for all of that. Spend some time this week thinking about it and make decisions from there. Now, just a couple of tips on that over my, what did we say it was, 37, 38 years, I can't remember, of doing Christmas dinner that have influenced decisions over the years. Plating up is great when there are maybe up to 6 or 8 of you. Any more than that, and it does get really difficult because not many people have space to lay that number of plates out, in their kitchen, on their work surfaces. So that certainly does, get really challenging. And yes, of course, having family style where you've got all the dishes down the middle, it is really good because people can just keep eating and, working away at them all right in front of them, where they wouldn't perhaps ask for extras, second helping, or get back up to the buffet. So that's good. But the downside of that is it can be quite logistically difficult for passing those dishes around. You want the serving dishes to be hot so that the food stays hot. That can be tricky, passing those around the table. And the obvious one that I just said, it doesn't leave much space for glasses, decorations, all of that down the table. So that can be tricky as well. So there's a wee disadvantage and advantages there that you need to think about. The last option, which is the buffet option, I have to say, we did this last year with our family, and I don't think we'll go back from that. It worked really well. We had 13 round the table last year, and along the kind of breakfast bar kitchen island that I've got here, it's actually the perfect spot for sort of laying everything out on the table side, and it worked a treat. And the advantage, I would say, with doing it buffet style is most holiday meals you have multi-generations, and what that meant was that everybody could take the amount that they wanted. You didn't have to second guess. Elderly people will eat quite small portions usually. children will eat quite small portions. Someone at the table doesn't like Brussels sprouts or doesn't like whatever, and they might be, too embarrassed to say, no, don't give me any on the plate. Yes, it means that everybody's got to get up and serve themselves, but I don't think that that was really so much of a problem compared to the advantages that it gave. And the food was all, still out there. Yeah, and I don't think her family bothers too much about, appearances. If they want to get up and get second helpings, they absolutely will. So yeah, I don't think I'll go back from that. And actually, I might invest this year in some of these chafing dishes, I think they're called, the kind of serving dishes with the warmer underneath. I think I'm going to have a look in Costco and see how much they are, and maybe just add to my hosting kind of inventory, if you like. I might invest in a couple of those this year, but yeah, I don't think we'll go back from the buffet style. But the point is, you need to decide what's right for you, for your family, for those around the table, because it will influence other decisions that you have to make down the line. And so the second task on our list this week really is as a kind of follow on from that, whether you are going to do family style and put all the dishes down the centre of the table, or whether you are going to do a buffet. What I want you to do this week, and it feels like you're getting into the real nitty gritty of it, but you do, that's what you have to do when you're planning ahead and being really organised, is get all your serving dishes out and think about which one you're going to use for the roast potatoes. Which one are you going to use for the turkey? Which one are you going to use for the Brussels sprouts or the carrots or the mashed potato, or whatever those parts of the meal are that you're going to be serving up. Because if you don't have one, then you need to invest in them. And I know we did say in a previous video, have a look at, your serving ware and invest in any that you think that you might need to add to your collection for this year. But I want you to get really specific this week. Allocate the dishes ahead, write them down, big, potatoes in the white dish with the fluted edge, whatever that might be, and get really specific so that if you do need extra dishes, like I've just said, it spurred me on to think, oh, chafing dishes, yeah, that is something that I would find really valuable. Now is the time to get out there and get them. So think specifically, what are you putting in what dish, and buy any that you need. Next task on our list this week is still sticking with the food and drink category, and that is to give your kitchen cupboards, particularly the food ones, a good declutter, a good clear out. Get rid of everything that's out of date, all those packets that have been opened and the stuff's gone stale. Get rid of them all, have a good clear out in anticipation of all the extra food that you're going to probably have in your cupboards over the Christmas season. I mean, it's great practice to do it, throughout the year, but yeah, I'll hold my hand up here and say that it doesn't always get done in this house because I'm always busy doing other things, and this is just a really good time to do it. And you could also add your freezer into that as well. I think it was a couple of weeks ago we talked about, planning some extra meals to go into the freezer. So if that's what you're going to be doing, then over these weeks you probably are looking for space in your freezer to add in some extra meals that you can just kind of whip out over the holidays when you just can't be bothered cooking. So yeah, you're not going to have space in your freezer to do that unless you've given it a good clear out and a good kind of defrost. Now's the time to defrost the freezer, do all of that in anticipation of bringing in all that yummy Christmas food to your cupboards. So good clear out, that's what you need this week. Next on the list is in the category of overnight guests. If you are having people to stay over the holidays, what I want you to do this week is have a look at your bed linens for the spare room, your duvet cover, your top cover, your quilt, all of those things, maybe spare set of towels that you give to guests. Does anything need replaced there? And this is definitely one that you want to do now. Decide what you need to replace. And this is definitely one that you can wait until the Black Friday sales, because it's not a specific item. It's not like someone's asked for something for Christmas and it has to be that particular thing and you're running a risk of it, running out if you don't get it now. Let's face it, it doesn't really matter as long as it's in your colour scheme. You can probably choose from a few different ones. So this, I would say, is one to wait on those Black Friday deals. But this week, just make the decision about what you're going to buy and get it onto your master list. Check through what you've got, have a look at what's there, what needs replaced, make that decision this week, get it on your master list, and then you know what you need to buy when those sales come around. Next on the list for this week is in the decorations category. And this week we're thinking about your Christmas table, or your table for your New Year's Eve dinner, or your Thanksgiving table, whatever those big holiday meals are where you're going to decorate the table. This week I want you to decide what your theme is going to be for that. Now, if it's Thanksgiving, you're going to have to work sooner. Here in the UK, we're not thinking about Thanksgiving. We're really just thinking about all the Christmas meals and the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, that type of thing. Think about the table, what kind of decor you're going to have. As I said before about, what kind of meal you're going to be doing serving wise. Are you going to have space on the table for serving dishes, or are you going to plate up buffet, etc.? So that's not quite so important. Think about your theme, think about your colours, think about what you've already got, what can you work in using things you've already got, what might you need to get this year. Spend some time on Pinterest, have a look there. I'm going to be trying to put together some videos, just on sort of ideas and things, so look out on the channel. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, I'm usually sharing things there too. But yeah, it is about working with what you've already got, maybe adding in a few extra things this year, but decide on your theme of your table. That is your task for this week. Next task for this week is in the general supplies category. Last week we said you need to get all your gift wrap, bits and pieces, your paper, your tags, your gift cards, all of that. And I did say you could split it over 2 weeks. So it's really just a reminder, did you get it all last week, or did you decide to split it over 2 weeks? Have you still got it all to do this week? But certainly by the end of this week, you definitely need to have all of those supplies in place that you're going to need. So make sure that you've got all of your gift wrapping supplies by the end of this week. Next task for this week is in the hosting category, and I want you to add on to your shopping list for this week to pick up cocktail sticks, the little picks, for buffet food, for finger food, some paper napkins. Even if you intend to use lovely cloth or linen napkins for your big meals, it's great to have just a couple of packs of paper napkins just for impromptu guests, just for using, all over the holidays, so you don't have to use the cloth and the linen ones at every occasion. So add them onto your list. If your grocery store stocks them, stick them on your grocery list this week. Just put them in your cart with your regular shopping this week, and that's just another couple of things that you've got tucked away in the kind of supplies in reserve. But yeah, anything like that you are going to need this year, skewers, cocktail sticks, napkins, yeah, get those on your list and get them bought this week. Next task on the list this week is in the clothing category. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we said it would be a good idea to put in your planner all of the events that you have coming up, so that you know what you've got to arrange an outfit for, and that's for yourself, for your kids, anyone else that you're responsible for pulling together an outfit for. So this week, going back to that term, low-hanging fruit, what events on there do you know that you need to get things for and that you can just order? I suppose I'm mostly thinking at this stage about your kids. I know when my boys were younger and they really didn't, when they were really little, they didn't have much of an opinion about what they were going to wear. I would just buy a party outfit for them, little shirt, bow tie, that type of thing. And I would just get that. Girls, obviously, little party dress. They don't have an opinion about it. They don't need to try it on. You know what size they are. You just need to order it. So do you have a favourite online store, a go-to store that you would get things from? Get that done this week. Get it bought. Again, it's those low-hanging fruit tasks, the things that you're not waiting on anything or anybody getting back to you to do. Just get them done. The other thing in that kind of clothing category is to look and see, are you going to an event that's maybe a black tie and you've already decided that you've got a dress or you've got an outfit or whatever you're going to wear, you've already got it in the cupboard. get it out, check it over, make sure it doesn't need to go to, the dry cleaners, whatever. Just make sure that it is clean and ready to go. So these are just a couple of things. As I say, they don't rely on anybody else coming back to you, just easy to get done, get checked off the list and be making progress. Next task is still kind of sticking with getting things organised for kids in the family, and that is to go into what we call the schools and clubs category and just give it a once over, just follow up on anything, make sure that you're on top of ordering, those tickets for the school play, the party tickets. If you ordered something, have they been sent out? Did you get them? You can be following up with other parents, getting carpools organised, that type of thing. So just revisit that category, have another look at it, stay on top of the tasks, make sure that things have come in that you've ordered, or things that you've applied for tickets, have they been released yet, that type of thing, and just stay on top of everything in that category. So it needs just a wee revisit, so just go back and check that everything's on track there. Next task on the list is, I guess, in the travel category. I'm not sure how this works elsewhere in the world, but here in the UK, if you are having a night out at Christmas and you need to organise a cab, either to pick you up and take you or pick you up at the end of the night, you need to get that booked, because coming out of an event and just trying to order a cab on the spot is always a nightmare. So especially if you live in a more rural area where cabs are a lot thinner on the ground. So let's get those booked, the cabs back and forth, any transport to or from an event. Check all your events and get those booked this week. And the last task for this week is in the kind of health and self-care category. And what I want you to think about this week is, in the busyness of the Christmas season, all of those good habits that hopefully you've managed to put in place can sometimes just go out of the window. And it's really, really important for your stress levels to keep them up, keep them in there. And at the end of the day, that's partly what this series is all about. We're looking for a more joyful and less stressful Christmas season. So what I want you to do at some point this week is grab a cosy drink, grab a notebook and pen, or maybe your planner, page in your planner, and just sit down and jot down all the things that you have in place that are good habits. The kind of things I'm thinking about are: do you go to a yoga class regularly? Maybe you go to the gym regularly. Maybe you try and go to bed at the same time every night. Maybe you make a really conscious effort to stay hydrated and have water on hand throughout the day. Maybe you like to try and get out in nature every day or every couple of days for a good walk. Maybe you're quite good at sort of keeping up with a friend and you will regularly, go on a coffee date with a friend. All of these kind of things that are good for our general well-being, they're good for our stress levels, for keeping them down. As I say, in the holiday season, a lot of them can just go out of the window. So the idea is that if you just take a few minutes to think about all the things in your life that you do manage to maintain, that you just know are good for you, jot them all down, and then just make a conscious effort to maintain as many as possible throughout the holiday season. I know that I would do this. So I try to go to a yoga class several times a week. And I know for me, that would be the first thing on my list. If I hadn't consciously thought about it, I'd think, oh, I don't have time for yoga this week, I'll not bother booking it. Or a few days in advance, I think I'll just cancel that class on Friday because I'm just not going to get to it. If you've taken a little bit of time out and consciously thought about it, you're much more likely to think along the lines of, no, I am going to keep that in place. When that thought comes in, I don't think I'll book the class this week, or I'll just cancel it, the other bit of your brain will be saying to you, no, Lynn, keep that up. You do need to have that. So it's just about putting focus on it, and then hopefully that will help you to make those things happen and that they'll not slip off the radar. So again, we all know how important sleep is. So at that point where you're just, you've got so much on your to-do list and you're tempted to stay up that extra hour, squeeze in those tasks, do that extra bit of work, wrap those few presents, all of the preparation is not worth it if it's at the expense of the very things that you're doing that will naturally keep those stress levels down. So by just taking a few minutes this week to jot down all the things that you have in place that you know do you some good, put some focus on them and just try to make a conscious effort then in the following weeks, all the weeks up to Christmas, to keep maintaining those habits just to keep the stress levels down. And so that's it for this week, another week of tasks. I'm going to put the printable as usual in the description box below, along with a link to all the previous videos. It's lovely to have you along for this series of videos. I'm really enjoying all the comments that you're leaving in the comment section of the videos. It's just lovely to see how everybody's getting on, what they think of it. Add in anything that's occurred to you that you've put on your list. Maybe I've got it coming up in a future week, maybe I've not thought about it at all. So share all your to-dos in the comments section below as well. And please do think about subscribing to this channel. It helps me know when the dreaded YouTube algorithm that we all have to work with. If you subscribe or if you comment or if you like a video, it just tells YouTube that you're enjoying the series and then they'll put it out to more people. And that just enables me to continue making content like this. So I really, really do value, I can't tell you how much I value every single subscriber when it comes through and I get that little notification that someone else has subscribed. It's just a great feeling. So thank you so much for that, and I will see you next week.